Welcome to Our Paramotor Nation. Tonight's show is sponsored by Wisconsin Flight Sports. They make it affordable and accessible for you to get your paramotor training. They are stocked with SkyMax paramotors, one of the best paramotors available, and they are ready to be shipped to you today. Wisconsin Flight Sports has just announced a special class in Gulf Shore, Alabama, February 12th through the 21st. Go to their website for more details. Check out Paraswag USA for your complete powered paragliding gear, Source providing you with the new Rebel 2 RS paramotor, as well as other gear and accessories. JK Custom Carves is a father and daughter run small business taking your vision and immortalizing it forever on wood, plastic, or aluminum. With extremely affordable pricing, this creation makes a great gift and trophy for any paramotor enthusiast. Find JK Custom Carves on Facebook or click on their link on the Our Paramotor Nation website. iFly Indiana provides USPPA certified powered paragliding training on their equipment or on yours. Full-time classes are 7 to 9 days. Part-time classes are also available. Come out to Indiana and see how beautiful it can be to train. Take the next big step in your paramotor training at Skylab Paramotor SIV. Here, paramotor pilots of all skill levels will learn collapse recovery and advanced maneuvers. One-Up Adventures and ParamotorProps.com. Come share their passion for flight on adventure trips around the world. Additionally, they are a supplier of carbon fiber propellers in the U.S. at extremely low prices and have become a leader in the country for getting tandem training and exemptions. FlyMyPPG offers a full-service paramotor training experience with 3 on-site instructors and class sizes limited to 6 students, all on a beautiful private 90-acre airport. FlyMyPPG offers on-site lodging and RV camping. Space is limited, so don't wait to make your reservation. And don't miss the upcoming scheduled classes combining the efforts of One-Up Adventures and FlyMyPPG at Wauchula Airport, January 23rd through the 31st, February 20th through the 28th, and March 20th through the 28th. Check out their websites to get your spot before they are filled. More than just soap, Charlie Soap has all-natural laundry detergents and household cleaners like no others. They are a supporter of Resurgence PPG. Get all the natural cleaning supplies you need at charliesoap.com. Celebrating their 10th anniversary, the team at FlyPPG Discovered Powered Paragliding has helped people from around the world get into our great sport. They are the Midwest importers and distributors of adventure paramotors, trikes, and wings. Aviator Paramotor is a cornerstone for paramotor training while offering its students some of the top paramotoring equipment. With 2 locations in beautiful Florida, class availability has never been more convenient. With raving reviews, Lone Star Paramotor has become one of the most sought-out paramotor schools in the South, near San Antonio, Texas, offering foot launching and trike training classes and much more. Light up the skies with PPG lights and make one heck of an impression with countless patterns and colors on your paramotor. No aircraft can miss seeing you when you are flying at twilight with PPG lights. Nebraska Paramotor strives to be a central resource hub for the community training just southeast of Springfield, Nebraska. They will help you select the best paramotor, glider, and other accessories suited for your flying style. Wicked Wings logo can help you have a one-of-a-kind custom glider with one or multiple colors on your logo. Get all the information you need to order your logo today on the Our Paramotor Nation website. That's www.ourparamotornation.com. And while you're there, check out Our Paramotor Nation's upcoming shows, watch our past shows, and visit all of our sponsors and find out much, much more.
Hey everybody,
now,
welcome to Our Paramotor Nation. I'm so glad you're here tonight. Thank you so much for making arrangements to being here 3 hours earlier than normal. We have an amazing show tonight with a great guy named Alex Ledger, who is joining us from the United Kingdom. So we're at 6 o'clock for us right now. It's midnight for him. 3 a.m. is just unbearable. And so we kind of met in the middle. I got some people joining me as well tonight. We're all actually on location, so I know that that might have been a little bit glitchy there in the beginning. Hopefully our internet is strong enough to hold us through to the show. But I know we've got Trike Flyer Dave Ruff is here. He's actually in his cargo trailer broadcasting tonight. Hey, Dave, welcome.
Hey, what's up, buddy?
Also got, now you might get some, we're in the same room, but we're like 20 feet apart. Is John Ripman right? I'm looking at the other side of the room from where I'm sitting. You might get
what's
some
up, everybody?
Yeah, we're definitely getting
tiny bit of echo.
All right. Go ahead and mute yourself, John, right now for just a second. Awesome. And Alex Ledger is here. Go ahead and come on in, Alex. There he comes.
Hi, guys.
So, hi, Alex. Thanks for joining us so much for this really late evening. It's now after midnight for you. I really appreciate it. And a lot of people out there don't know who Alex is. Alex has been a pilot for 16 years. He's been in the sport. But what really intrigued me about Alex is what he's done in the time. There's a lot of people who come into the sport and they just fly and that's it for them. And that's absolutely perfect and wonderful. And there's some people who say, I'm going to take this to another level and contribute back to the sport and do some other things. Some of those people are the people who have instructed us. Some people are like Todd Scandretta, Resurgence PPG, and Todd's actually going to be joining us tonight because he has a special message he'd like to give to Alex later on. He's actually sitting in the room 6 feet down from me. I'm going to be turning my computer for him when we bring him on. And Alex has done just that, as an instructor, as a philanthropist, and some other things as well. And you don't know him because he's out of the United Kingdom. I think a lot of times we have our blinders on here in the US and we just know the people that are around here. So Alex, without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to you. If you wouldn't mind letting all the people out there that are watching this now live, and then there's going to be hundreds of people that are going to be watching this over the next couple of days. I know a lot of people enjoy watching this or listening to this podcast in their car, which is great. Can you give us a kind of a background of yourself?
Well, first of all, thanks very much for having me on. And I'm actually in France. It's -8 outside and it's snowing. So, yeah, slightly different to where you guys are. And like most people, can't do much flying at the moment because of what's going on in the world. So, yeah, it's good to have this to look forward to and be talking flying and seeing how passionate everyone is over there. It's great to see how the sport's coming along. So I got into paragliding and paramotoring at the same time, end of 2004, beginning of 2005, with a guy called Gilo Cardozo, who founded Parajet, who probably you've all heard of. And I went straight into the deep end, really. And as I learned how to fly, I also set up the school. And I was based out in an island in the Mediterranean where I used to live, because my father was in the army, British Army, called Cyprus. And I started teaching people how to fly out there. And I had instructors who are much more experienced than me around me to help improve my skills and knowledge. And then we ended up shifting down to Spain. And we were there for 10 years. And since then, we've been bouncing around most of Europe, running courses and trying to spend as little time in the UK as possible because of the weather. But predominantly, I'd say about 70 to 75% of our students are British, and the rest come from all around the world. So it's given us a really good international flavour of the sport, and it's taken me to some amazing places. And I would never have done it without paramotoring. So it's been great.
Do you have a school in one location and then you kind of travel in different times of the year to train as well?
So yeah, I mean we're now operating in Portugal on the coast in the spring and the autumn, and then we go back to the UK for the summer months. And people tend to just go to wherever we are at the time. We've also got a school out in Dubai, and which is always a trepidatious place to run a business because you don't know when the rules are going to change. So yeah, we've been operating out there for about 10 years now, on and off. And yet again, it's all weather based, and it depends on the demand. So the sports and the weather very much dictates where we go.
Got it. So very similar to what one of the schools is doing today, actually two schools together. And part of the reason that Dave, myself, John, and Todd are all here in Wauchula, Florida is we wanted to witness and see firsthand what it's like to watch two of our sponsors, actually two different schools, come together. Fly My PPG out of Michigan. They came down to Florida, joined up with One Up Adventures, and together they're combining effort for different classes, as we saw in the intro video right there. So kind of the same idea with that. Another thing that One Up Adventures does is kind of in the name is adventures. They do adventure trips, and I understand that you do that as well.
We do, yeah, we do things called Sky Week trips. So we take qualified pilots and take them on these kind of guided trips around mainly Europe. But we're now, because of our experience, we've done trips in Africa and Asia and the Middle East, and now we're looking to go to Namibia.
And actually, that's how I found you, is from one of the videos that you had up there talking about one of the trips that are coming up this summer. How's that looking with the COVID and everything? Is that looking like it's still going to be able to happen?
Yeah, we're trying to push it back as late as possible to the end of the year. So looking like the end of November, early December. Hopefully, this craziness will be under some form of control by then. We'll be able to give people some confidence that the trip can go ahead. I'm doing it in partnership with an ex-client of mine who's also a helicopter pilot and a desert expert and guide, and he's actually running a helicopter trip in 2 weeks leading up to the Paramotor trip. So we're staying very much in touch on the latest developments and also all the travel restrictions. But fingers crossed, hopefully we'll better run that in November, December.
That's awesome. The school name is called Sky School. We didn't mention that, I don't think, right? And the YouTube channel is also called Sky School. John, I know mentioned in our pre-show was asking about SIV that you do there as well, but a lot of the videos are instructional videos, correct?
So a lot of videos have been putting out our top tips series, and we found that's been a very useful tool for people who are looking to get into the sport, or some of the students who have done their training with us and just want to have a reminder, and even for those who don't. So yeah, it's I very much believe in trying to spread the word of safety. It's not all about making money out of the sport. That's going to happen indirectly or directly anyway. So be able to put the way we have been able to manage the safety side, and hopefully allow that to benefit people. To me, that's much more important.
Yeah. And what we just did, I asked John Ripa, and I see he just did. Rip Van Ryden just put a link to the YouTube channel. So I would highly encourage everybody watching this or who is watching right now, go ahead and click on the link. You can come right back or copy and paste it, and make sure you're subscribing to Sky School on YouTube. I just saw a question come up in the chat here from Yankee Paramotor. And he says, can you ensure with Alex Nabia has beer and not just, oh gosh, I can't read all that.
Yes, there will be beer.
There you go. Thanks a lot, Todd. When I get out of this, I'm going to find you, and you owe me for that. That was very nice.
Hey, he's right next to me. You want me to step outside and go thump him for you?
Yeah, maybe in a second. I don't know. All right. How many students do you think you've put through in all these years?
I think we're probably hitting around the 3,000 mark now.
That's more than Flight Junkies. Okay, that's awesome. That is awesome. Is that all paramotoring, or paragliding too?
Yeah, that'd be all paramotoring. We do a little bit of paragliding, but as I think most people know, you don't have to be a paraglider pilot before you can paramotor. So all depends on where we are and the tools we use to get people flying. So sometimes it's good to chuck people off little sand dunes or hills. Other times you just it's not necessary. So paramotoring is our specialty.
Yeah. So you talked about a few moments ago, and you said it's not all about making money, and it's not. And sometimes you create something that's bigger than yourself, and you've done that in what's called Flying for Heroes, right? And Flying for Heroes, I'm gonna let you describe it, but before we do, I'll say this. We have a Facebook page called Our Paramotor Nation. It has almost 1,000 members already, which is phenomenal. And this past week, I posted the last video that Alex and Sky School put out. It was about a 14 or 19 minute video. It was awesome. It was great, well put together. but it inspired someone here in the country. Well, not that did, but what you've done inspired someone in the country that we all know, we all love, and we all support. And his name's Todd. I'm going to hand the computer over to Todd, and he has something he'd like to say.
How you doing, Alex?
How you doing, Todd?
So I want to let you know that you've been immensely inspirational to me. One of the things that got me into the sport was finding a video that you had done, and you had been a part of an adventure. I had recently been medically retired from the Army, and going through some of my own struggles, and finding the video that you had done about flying Britain, the adventure you had with Cale Royce. It was immensely impactful for me. It showed me the accessibility of the sport, what the sport could do. And from that, I realized that there needed to be more of an outreach. And, it was what really drove me to start Resurgence PPG. And, for that, I want to thank you, because a lot of people think that, this was just some weird idea that I had. But thankfully, it's something that you had already crossed that bridge, and you had kind of forged that way. And it really means a lot for me to be on the show and be able to thank you personally, because what you've done is allowing me to impact lives and allowing the paramotor community here in the States to impact our adaptive veteran community. It's amazing. I truly appreciate what you guys have done. And hopefully one day when donations are right, we can go ahead and have an amazing joint adventure together with a whole bunch of vets and just have a great time with it.
Well, Todd, I didn't know that before this evening. So yeah, that really does. That's a really kind thing for you to say. It makes me feel really, really pleased that something that you've seen, which I've been part of, has inspired you to change people's lives, because that's what it does have the power to do. This sport changes people's lives. It's changed my life, and it's done all these brought all these amazing experiences for me. And I knew that I could offer something to wounded, injured, and sick service personnel, and that was all brought about because of my relationship with Cale Royce before he was blown up in Afghanistan and became a double amputee. So the fact that we managed to get him flying, and no one had done it by that stage, and to be able to then fly in your country. He took part in the first Icarus Trophy in 2015 on the West Coast, and then we flew the length of the UK the following year. It was just fantastic to see the progression, and now to hear your story and see what you're doing. It's great, because there's life after injury for these guys, and all it needs is the support of people who are passionate and believe in what they're trying to achieve, and you can change people's lives. And that's to me what this sport can do.
Yeah, absolutely. And for me, one of the things that I find so amazing is we look at Cale's situation, and he's a double amputee and he's out flying. We've sponsored Robert Bruce, who's a double leg below the knee amputee. And I think he was the first one that we can track down, that we're aware of, that foot launches. Now there's Gareth Payne over in Thailand. He's a British expat. He's now the second double below the knee amputee that's flying foot launch. And we have Sean Michael Horn, single leg amputee, doing foot launch. We have a paraplegic who's flying a trike. So it really is amazing to see, that these, what we would consider limiting factors, really aren't limiting factors. These guys are able to get into the sport, and they're able to experience that life-changing therapy, if you will. And it's truly amazing, and it's awesome to see, what you've been through and what you've been involved in, and what we're basically trying to create now on this side of the pond.
That's great to hear. Yeah, no, it's always nice to hear that these things have an impact and a positive one. So yeah, I look forward to hopefully flying with you guys one day.
Yeah, I'll definitely be in touch, and we'll see if we can pull something together. And so for everybody in the audience, what I would like to do is, I had been donated some equipment, and I would like to offer up a set of the PPG smoke flotation for tonight's drawing. So everybody share this, get other folks out there, and whoever wins the drawing tonight, I'll be sending you guys a set of the PPG smoke flotation. So, but Alex, I really appreciate it, man. You're doing amazing work, and hopefully I'll be in touch with you, and we'll be able to get some of our veterans over there, get you guys back over here, and do something together.
Cheers, my friend. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, man.
Thank you, Todd. So that's awesome. You know, we do a lot to support Resurgence PPG, Todd, and now very generously, Todd, who was gifted these by PPG Smoke, these flotations, he's now giving back to the community. So at the end of the show, we're going to go ahead and ask a question from things that we talked about with Alex, and the first person to answer it correctly will win those. We'll just do it that way. Awesome. Thank you, Todd. So let's talk about your charity. Go ahead and tell us a little bit about it, how it was founded, and I always ask Todd how many people we put through Resurgence. I'd love to know, because it's such a similar story. How many people have you gotten through your program?
So it started in a pub, over a drink, like all good ideas do, in Switzerland, actually, in a ski resort. And end of 2011, I was with Cale, and he was part of an army ski team run by my best mate. He used to work as an instructor in my school, and that was now his platoon commander. And I told him about my desire to start to get some of the wounded veterans flying, and didn't think about it much more. But Cale had said, "Look, I'm off to Afghan next month. Anything could happen." It was kind of almost a fate, a sad twist of irony, and he was very lucky to survive. And by the time he had come out of his coma and recovered, I went round to the hospital to see him and said, "Look, do you still remember that conversation we had in that bar?" And he said, "Yes." And I said, "Look, I want to do this. I want to get wounded guys flying. I don't know how I'm going to do that, but are you keen?" And he was like, "Yeah, I am." Straight away, literally, I think within a year and a half, he had rowed across the Atlantic Ocean. So this guy's not normal, right? He's not normal. He's done it twice now, as part of a similar charitable project called Road to Recovery. And my cousin was part of that project because he was also in the same regiment. As you can probably tell, I come from a military family. I wasn't in the army myself. So that probably was what gave me even more desire to make this a reality, because it was so kind of interconnected. And long story short, we ended up approaching this charity in the UK called Help for Heroes, which had, pardon the pun, quite literally taken off in terms of support from all the British public, and received funding for all these different projects. You've probably heard of Prince Harry's Invictus Games, which they support. So we went to them with this concept, and they backed us, and they provided the financial means with which to purchase 3 Exciter paratrikes. And then they all came out. We ended up having an interview with a group of veterans with a range of disabilities, both physical and obviously PTSD sufferers as well. And we ended up inviting a group of 10 out to my school, which was at that time based in Spain, north of Barcelona. And we spent a month teaching these guys how to fly, how to service the engines, and everything to do with flying. So we'd fly every day. And it was me plus one other instructor called Kester Haynes, and then an expedition leader, an Everest climber, a seven summiter called Neil Lawson. And
Kester's the adventurist, right?
This was before the adventurist. So yeah, this was.
Kester's been a guest on our show a long time ago, one of the first episodes.
Oh, right. Yeah, no, I taught Kez how to fly. He's a good friend. Wow. We're off to Saudi Arabia in about a month and a half together, hopefully, to fly around the desert. So, yeah, I mean, Kester's one of the best paramotor pilots, in my opinion, and instructors and exponents for the sport in the world. So I was very lucky to work with him on this project. And so after we had packed up all the trikes, we shipped them out to Kenya and had 3 unforgettable weeks flying around this amazing country. And it was just fantastic. And that then led, because we knew that we could now do this. It led to Cale then the following year getting some more funding with his brother, who ironically was also an injured veteran in the Royal Marines, to then go to America, on the first Icarus Trophy from Seattle down to Sacramento. And we had customized a trike. Kester had been the designer of that trike with Parajet. It had a caster wheel on the front, so the trike would follow the wing, which could get a little bit, sketchy at times if he was a bit gung-ho on the throttle. But he managed to complete the Icarus Trophy adventure class. So there were a few road sections which we didn't think was sensible for him to fly over. But yeah, it was yet again just wow. That was what a trip, And then the following year, we flew the length of the UK in 6.5 days. And if anyone's been to the UK, they know how bad the weather is. And by some miracle, we flew 7 days in a row, and we got through Scotland in a day and a half. So it was a hell of a trip, and it's something which, I'm looking to see. Okay, what's the next challenge now, and try to get more guys involved and have a proper resurgence, pardon the pun, so we can get more wounded, injured, and sick guys in the air.
How many people have gone through the program?
So I think we had only the initial 10, and then we had another group of 10 coming through in the UK on a more wider base of aircraft, because the UK weather was just creating more restrictions for us with paratrikes, and we got this frustrating Civil Aviation Authority restriction on paratrikes. So we found that it was easier to shift people onto flex wing microlights, and that is the way the path has gone. Frustratingly for me as a lover of ram air canopies. So what's been interesting is it's led to individuals to reach out. So since then, it's inspired more people to get into paratriking who wouldn't normally have done so. And I'd love to, see this continue to grow and do more and provide more.
So I just want to see if I'm understanding correctly. It sounds like you have a group of 10 at a time come to train instead of training one here and there. Is that correct?
So that's now the case is individuals, and at the time it was very much a kind of a project which was trying to give a realistic number of people the skills to be able to fly safely and over a continuous period of time. And now it's kind of shifted into more of the individual focus who goes, I want to do that, and then we facilitate it.
Are you doing all the training, or do you have partners from other schools doing any of the training for you?
So I also run Our PPG, which is the International Paramotor Association, not necessarily something you would need in the US, but it's something which is very much equivalent of PADI for scuba diving, but it's been very popular outside of developed countries. And through there, I've been able to come across some of these amazing instructors, and I employ these guys depending on where we are and what we're doing and what their schedule is. So I've been very lucky to be able to meet all these people, and I could never take the credit of doing all this on my own. It's too big an operation. It requires too many different skill sets and hands-on, and people with different methods as well.
Do you think there's a benefit one way or another to having a big group come in and train a lot of these candidates, a lot of these vets at once, or doing one at a time and maybe putting them with a group of people who are not supported by the program, regular students?
So it all depends on the situation and what you're trying to achieve. But what we were trying to achieve in 2014 was purely focused on the Kenya trip, and that was fantastic because it made everyone a really solid unit, and it was like being for a lot of them back in the military, but in a good way. And we saw that was a really positive thing. We had people trained up as mechanics as well as pilots, and it gave a really good team cohesion because the focus was on the expedition. And now the shift has been doesn't matter who you are, you can come on a course and we can facilitate that, and you just come in as part of the any normal course, and that's great for those who are the individuals looking to learn how to fly, and not as a focus on an expedition like we were doing in 2014.
So I think the most important message I want to get out there to everybody from tonight's episode is that you can make a difference. You can make a change. You can make an impact on our sport if you want to. If you want to just fly, that's fine. If you want to become an instructor one day. And I had this conversation last night with Justin Fox of Fly My PPG saying, it seems like there's people who find their place in the sport. For me, for John, for Dave, it's doing this type of show. For Todd, it's doing Resurgence PPG. For a lot of people, it's instructors. As Todd said, Alex is an inspiration, and you just got to find your little niche and add to this paramotoring community here that we're creating in the States. Alex, paramotoring has been around a lot longer on that side of the pond than it has on this side. I know class sizes at a lot of the schools are anywhere from 4 to 6 people per class. What are the average size of classes that you are having at your school, and how often do you start a new class?
So we run 26 weeks of courses a year, and I usually have 4 instructors and up to 10 students. It depends on the location, but yeah, we've got some numbers. It's a popular sport. It's getting more popular, and it's all weather based is our biggest problem, because the UK just doesn't have the same kind of climate that you guys have got. There's a reason I live in France, in the mountains, where I can do all these sports a lot more often. And there's a reason I operate in Portugal and Spain. But the UK, when it's good, it's a great place to fly, because you've got so much variety and history and different cultures, different people, and so much to see and so much to explore in such a small little place. So yeah, we do have a lot of people taking up the sport, a lot more women getting involved, which is fantastic, and been a big drive and tried to encourage more women to take up the sport. With the lightness of the kit now, that's been really positive, and I just hope more and more women are gonna want to keep on learning how to fly and take up this great thing we call paramotoring.
Yeah, I think when you just said basically you're starting a new class every 2 weeks and you've got 10 people, every instructor that's watching the show, their mouths just dropped and started drooling. So let me put it into perspective, or have you put it into perspective. That's in 2020, 21. Take us back 10 years. What was the involvement like? Was it as popular 10 years ago as it is today?
No, well, probably wasn't as popular, probably more hitting around about an average of 6 to 8. It was obviously just coming out of the recession, but people were still keen to fly, people were still keen to travel. It's been a great journey, my whole experience with paramotoring, because I remember, a busy week for us is when we had 4 people. I'm like, wow, how are we going to cope with this? But we didn't. We grew organically as a business. I didn't try to get too big too soon. And we, the moment the demand increased, we added more courses, we added more locations, we added more equipment, and we added more instructors. So it was a simple matter of me able to scale up to be able to maintain the standards. And then we've stopped at 10 capacity because beyond that it becomes like trying to herd cats.
Do you think I was lost in thought here. We had a big, from what my understanding, as I told you earlier, I've been in the sport about 2.5 years ago, and about 2.5, 3 years ago is when we had this big burst. A lot of people call it the Tucker effect, where we had a lot of people getting into the sport. And my guess is, seeing the trend from what you just said, is that we will see this continuous, growth here in the United States. I see a lot more women getting into the sport now as well. In fact, the class that's here at the airfield where we're at, they've got a lady that's in the class right now. So yeah, I'm definitely seeing more of that as well, and hope to see it keep growing. Maybe we get into the next step, which is younger adults, like my son, who's 17, who now flies as well. Would you say your school, Sky School, is the premier school, or are there a lot of other schools like that? I mean, put that into perspective. Is there only 2 or 3 schools out in your area?
So I wouldn't say there's any other school quite like us in Europe that operates in all these different locations. So we'd like to say we're a mobile school. So we've got a camper van and a trailer, and then a pickup truck and another trailer, and we relocate to wherever we need to be. So we can be totally independent and go to where the weather is. And that's what we do on our Sky Weeks. So flying through France, just such a fantastic country to fly through, is when we relocate from the UK down to Portugal, normally in the early autumn months. So there's no one else doing that. There are a few clubs in the UK where people are starting to go to once they're qualified, and some of these clubs do training and supply equipment. But I wouldn't quite say that they're doing it. We tend to do it intensively as opposed to fragmented, which is slightly more popular. The intensive training is a much more popular thing because people want to nail those skills and develop that muscle memory in a short period of time, mostly, and are prepared to take the time off to do so. That's certainly all the sports that I've done them intensely, as in I focused. When I skydived, I learned to skydive before I learned to paraglide and paramotor. I did that over a 2-week period in Australia. The weather was amazing, and just smashed it out. And I took the same principle to paramotoring, and it seems to have paid off, certainly as a business and for our students. They get to learn those skills in an intense period of time, which means you don't get the same kind of skill fades, which you can see if people are kind of fragmenting over weekends or trying to learn around the UK where the weather can be frustrating.
We have some great people that watch their show, some from Australia, like our friend Walter, who watches the show pretty regularly. Some people up in Canada, like our guest in the last, was it last week or the week before, Jerry Delier. And, they're very charitable people too. So if someone wants to donate or help out your organization or find out more about Sky School or the adventure trips, how can they get in touch with you? How can they go about doing such?
So for anything charity related, you can go straight to Help for Heroes, and you can donate through the Help for Heroes website, and mention Flying for Heroes if there's that possibility as being what's the inspiration to provide that donation. And for us, I think the best place is probably our YouTube channel or the website. So skyschooluk.com and Sky School on YouTube.
Question here from Todd, actually. He wants to know, have you had any involvement with the Invictus Games?
Haven't had any involvement with Invictus. I do know Prince Harry. I almost taught him how to fly. Yet again, all through military connection. I think he asked the question, this is back in 2006, and I think he got a very firm, no, you're not allowed to learn how to paramotor from the powers that be. And now he's on your side of the pond with Megan.
Right.
I don't think we're going to get him in the air, but I'd love to see it go somewhere like that, because the sport would be to get that kind of visibility. Imagine what that would do to this sport. It would, because most people still don't know what it is, and I think that's been the biggest challenge, is trying to get people aware of just what the sport is, how safe it is if you learn the right way, and you fly in the right way as well, and have the suitable equipment and respect the safety parameters. So to me it's just about getting it out there, and then everything flows downhill, doesn't it?
That's awesome. Yeah, we were just talking a second ago about women getting into the sport, and we've had a couple episodes on our show here about women being very involved in our sport. And I'm going to just take a second here to announce some great news. We had Alexis Quintana from Lone Star Paramotor in Texas. She's an instructor, and we have a brand new instructor here for One Up Adventures. I'd like to introduce her real quick to you. Her name is, come on closer, Allie Yancey. She just started as an instructor today.
Oh, congratulations.
Yay.
Allie.
Thanks, guys.
She's actually going to be a guest on February 14th. So we'll talk to more from Allie then. So congratulations. She just stopped in the room for a quick second too. Awesome. Cool. Hey, I promised you we wouldn't keep you up too late. It's already almost it's a quarter to one. So we're going to wrap up here pretty quick. We'll do a very, very brief after show in a second. You're welcome to stay or get to bed, whatever you prefer. But we're going to be really, really brief on that. We did have something we wanted to give away, as we said earlier, from Todd. Before we do that, though, I had a couple quick announcements. I'm going to try to remember them. One of our sponsors is PPG Lights, and Super Mike is running a special right now. I believe it's $179 for PPG Lights. So if you'd like to take advantage of that, go to the PPG Lights website. You can click on the link in the Our Paramotor Nation website, and it'll take you there. It's while supplies last. If you've been thinking about it, take advantage of it right now. A couple other quick announcements. I believe there's one spot left on the, I forget when it is. Is it this month or next month, for Wisconsin Flight Sports and the training in Alabama. So if you're thinking about doing that with Wisconsin Flight Sports, you can. But also, I know that there's, I believe the February class for One Up Adventures and fly my PPG here in Wauchula is filled, but there's 2 spots left in the March, and those are going to go fast. So if you've been thinking about training, don't wait any longer. This is a great opportunity for you with some amazing instructors. And Allie's here now, so you got that as well. So very good. So a little plug for them. All right, you ready for the question of the night? Dave, are you ready for the question of the night? It's very simple. Very simple.
I'm not.
I've been paying attention tonight, except when my leg fell asleep and I had to walk out.
Dave, have you been putting names in the wheel?
What's that?
I'm kidding. You don't have to put names in the wheel. All right. I said, I hope you've been putting names in the wheel. Have you been putting all the names? All right, good. Here's the question, everybody. First one in the chat. We're gonna use my screen right here. Okay. All right. The green screen's not working. Todd is sitting next to me 6 feet away, but he can see my screen. So whoever answers this question first by me and Todd, even if you see it on your screen come up sooner, we're going with what's on my screen. It's the only fair way. Sorry, guys. But there you go, Todd. There's Todd. We're 6 feet away.
Social distancing.
We've got our blockers on. All right. The question is, Alex Ledger has been flying in paramotors for how long? Between paragliding and paramotors, he said earlier, a number of years. How long has it been? 42, Catermon, that is way off. JP208 is incorrect. 42 years you've been flying. That's amazing. You look so good for your age. All right. 185 is incorrect. No, stop it. What do you, most or 185 is incorrect. You guys are really not. All right. Nick Griffith just landed. 2. No, he's been flying for longer than 2 years. I thought this was going to be an easy question. 10 years. Sorry, Kelvin Cox, I think.
They'll get it eventually.
Yeah, some fits. There we go. Mark, oh God. Wait a minute, this would work out great. Mark, oh, he's in the United Kingdom. Mark Harris, Greg Anthony Harris's father. That's Mark Anthony Harris, by the way. Congratulations, Mark Harris was the first one to say 16 years. That is correct. Congratulations. We could actually can we just give it to your son? We can just give it to your son. We'll give it to your son because he's also got your bag that you won for the holiday. You guys can stop answering now. But you all did a great job answering the question. Thank you, Todd, for that donation.
No, thank you.
And thank you,
Thanks for the
PPG
support.
Smoke. There you go. You go to Resurgence. I would say org or com. .org or
.com.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
.com.
All right, resurgencepppg.com. Check them out. Make a donation. Okay. Well, hold on. Mark Harris just said draw again. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to ask another question.
How many years have I been flying?
You want to do that or you want to take the next person that said 16 years?
No, I just asked how many years.
How many years? We're going to go with a new question. Hey, it's his gift to give away. Now he says give it to Greg. Okay, Greg's getting it. Congratulations, Greg. It's good to have a papa that keeps winning. All right, you paid attention. Is that okay?
Yeah, that works.
All right, Greg Anthony Harris. All right, that's it. Alex, any last words? Any else? Any other information you'd like to give us about Sky School or anything else?
No. Well, there's one thing. There's one rule: no friends or family on a flyable day. But I can't fly. But it is a powder day tomorrow. So, and I'm a big snowboarder. So, I would like to take that rule and imply it to what I'm going to do tomorrow, and go to bed because I'm knackered.
I hear you.
But thank you very much, guys. It's been a pleasure. Really enjoyed chatting to you, and hope to see some of you more following us on the channel, and hopefully fly with you guys in the future.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Alex.
Thank you, Alex.
Hey
Thanks
guys,
a lot.
next week we'll be back at 9:00 Eastern time. Dave Hanning, paraglider, is going to talk to you about why you should be learning to paraglide to enhance your paramotoring. Is that right, Johnny? He's nodding yes.
That's correct.
There you go. Thank you, Echo. All right, guys, have a great night. Thanks so much again for joining us. We look forward to seeing you next week. Have a great evening. And I got to put the chat in. Shoot. Hang tight 1 second. I got to get the code in here. Nope. Give me 1 second. Talk amongst yourself while I put the meeting ID in.
Hey guys, make sure you join in Wednesday night, 9 p.m. on the Trike Flyer Dave Ruff channel. And there is an echo. I love it. Anyway, make sure you guys are joining us. We have paramotor chat, all sorts of stuff comes up, kind of like a campfire around a fly-in. So see you there.
Almost done.
Back to you, Rick.
Okay, guys. The code is now in the chat, so you guys can join us for an after show. Alex, good night. Have a good night. Thanks again for joining us.
Thanks,
All right.
Alex. Bye-bye, guys.
On
See you guys.
Dave,
Good to meet you,
Dave
Alex.
Hanning